I'm a freelancer in Russian Siberia, and I make from around $300 to $500 a month on average. There are some months when this sum can be only $100 or $200, and there are months when I can earn up to $1,000, but it happens quite rarely. And with these drastic fluctuations, I figured out 7 financial and lifestyle rules that work perfectly for me and for my small salary. Hey guys, my name is Anna and welcome to my channel Siberian Side, which is about everything that is mindful and creative. And today I'm sharing with you my basic principles of living on a small salary. Of course, small is a very relevant term because for someone earning $2,000 a month can be not enough. And I'm living on the outskirts of Russia in Western Siberia. I rent a one-bedroom apartment, which is around $220 a month. I sustain a cat and I pay utility bills for my parents' apartment. And oftentimes I have around $150 a month for just regular living, groceries and all types of expenses, and also for laying money aside. So rule number 1, try not to experiment. And it took me a while to come to this conclusion. And by experimenting, I mean trying a new face lotion or clothing item that you haven't bought before. So for me, it's more about self-care routine. I've had troubles with my skin for a while and always hoped to find a magic solution, but there was none. A lot of money was spent on different creams, lotions, toners, ointments, etc. And now I stick to 1 or 2 lotions that are super neutral and at least don't cause extra troubles, and I can afford them. Experimenting is always about a risk that the new product that you tried won't work and you will still have to buy your usual one. So I'm trying to minimize this risk as much as I can. And therefore I stick to my true old friends that haven't let me down yet. Rule number 2, earning more doesn't mean spending more. So as I said, my monthly earnings vary a lot, and I used to have a tendency of spending money on something extra that I didn't need just because I happened to earn that little bit of extra money. I work with my brain, and intellectual and creative jobs are pretty hard, and after completing a big project, I often have a wild desire to compensate for the efforts made. I want gratification, I want some appraisal, and thus I'm easily seduced by things or experiences. So I figured out that earning more doesn't mean I should spend more. This is where the philosophy of minimalism is perfect. Do I really need that material gratification, or I can celebrate the completion of a project by making some art, or I don't know, just doing nothing, which can be such a joy and pleasure. And another way that keeps me from spending extra sums of money is converting that money into my time. For example, $20 may not seem like a big sum of money when it comes to a face lotion or an underwear set, but it's about 1 day of work for me. So is that face lotion or underwear set worth 1 day of my life? Nope. Rule number 3, have several money stashes. So I'm a squirrel in this way, and it brings me comfort to know that I have a couple of different places with teeny tiny safety nets. It can be a PayPal account, different e-wallets, or physical stashes in my apartment, etc. I'm not touching those stashes unless I really need to, and in the past 2 years I had urgent situations when those squirrel packs made a great difference for my family. Maybe it's also a Soviet heritage, because my father used to hide money all over the place for emergency situation. He recently passed away, and I found his last secret stash with $100, and they turned out to be a huge help for me. So the only trick here is not to forget where all your stashes are. Rule number 4, try to find a free version of something that you want or need. So I know that there is a thin line between free resources and illegal resources, and I'm doing my best not to stick to the latter variant. But things happen sometimes. For example, graphic design programs or professional translation programs are too expensive for me to afford. So would I choose going to a dentist or buying a crazy expensive Silicon Valley product? Definitely the dentist, and getting a free cracked version of the program. So, but before you judge me, let me tell you that I strongly believe that every person on Earth should have equal access to production tools and education resources. And if our society is too snobbish or rotten to provide that, then we just have to do what we can. On a side note, I always support independent artists, creators, writers, artisans, etc. And I think it is utterly important to do so in order to maintain those remnants of creativity with no monopoly or capitalist strings attached. Rule number 5, allow yourself little consumerist joys. So I'm a human, I'm not a monk, not an enlightened guru or something, and I love spending money on things that bring me joy, such as hobby supplies, gifts for my loved ones, artisan items, good food, etc. If I want to buy amazing yarn to knit a new hat, I can save on groceries for a week and walk more instead of using public transport. It's important not to deny yourself something that you really want or that you cannot stop thinking about. And it just takes some effort to balance earnings and spendings. So the next rule is about some things that I never save money on. It's healthcare, and somewhat unexpectedly it's shoes. So with healthcare, I guess it's understandable, and here in Russia most of the healthcare is for free, but there are certain areas such as dentist services or some different tests that require some payment, and it's easier to pay. And I usually choose the best clinics in the city for those services, and it's absolutely worth it because I've tried different variants trying to save money on that, and the results were not satisfactory at all. So, and as for about shoes, I guess it comes from my grandfather, who was a cobbler, and he taught my father how to take care of shoes, how to figure out which shoes are worth the money and which are definitely not, and so I inherited that knowledge. This summer I bought a pair of good sneakers for $50, which is quite a lot for sneakers for me, but they were from a brand that I know fits me well, so I've been wearing them all summer and this first half of autumn, and I can't be happier. And finally, rule number 7, it's DIYing whenever I can. If you watched my recent video about minimalism, you know what life circumstances made me DIY since very early age. I never stop sewing, knitting, crocheting, making my own jewelry, notebooks, etc. And with DIYing, it's not just about making something from scratch, but remaking things, repurposing them. It's a pure form of practical creativity, and I don't think I will ever stop resorting to it. So that's it for today, my 7 rules of living on a small salary. And if you have something to add or you just want to share your experience, welcome to the comment section down below. I will be very, very happy to know what you think. And if you like this video, check out more videos on minimalism and mindfulness on my channel. And I hope to see you soon, and пока-пока.